Well, I'd like to start off by asking all of you to think of a time where you've failed. Truly, really, truly tanked, tried your hardest, gave it your all, and ended up with a spectacular, flaming train wreck. Is anybody going to raise their hand? Wow, this is terrible. Going, ugh. All right, well, I asked this same question of one of my freshman classes last year, and no one would raise their hand. No one. Finally, after much prodding, because if I have something, I won't let it go, there's awkward silence. Finally, one student in the back raised his hand and said, "Professor, I really can't think of a time where I've failed. But then, I've never really tried very hard either." Well, I'm here to tell you what so many successful people, artists, writers, scientists, teachers, athletes, musicians, you name it, already know. That failure is one of the most important learning experiences that you can have, and that fear of failure can cripple your potential. Now wait, I'm sure parents are thinking this, I'm sure students are thinking this, but wait, are you telling me that I should come to the College of Idaho and fail? I want to go to med school, professor, and I don't think they're going to look at an F on my transcript very kindly. Thank you very much. No, I am not telling you to go and bomb all your classes. I'm not. Okay, don't use me as an excuse. All right, instead, what I am saying is this. Don't be afraid of failing, because it is the fear more than the actual failure that will hold you back. And to illustrate this, I'm going to talk about two important constructs from my field of psychology. And the first is the idea of a fixed versus a growth mindset. This was put forth by Carol Dweck at Stanford University. People who have a fixed mindset believe that your intelligence or your ability is fixed. You can't change it. You're either good at something naturally or you're not. People like this tend to avoid challenges. They see obstacles as insurmountable. Why even try? I mean, really, am I good at it or I'm not? They are more interested in looking good than actually being good. They're very resistant to any kind of criticism and are intensely threatened by the success of others. A person with a growth mindset, on the other hand, is characterized by their belief that ability and intelligence can be changed. These are the individuals who seek out challenge, who see obstacles as simply things to overcome. They solicit criticism and they learn from it, and they take pleasure in the success of others. Now, which type of person would you rather be? Well, a crucial key to your mindset is how you view failure. Those with a fixed mindset are terrified of failure, of being exposed as a fraud, and will do whatever it takes to avoid appearing a failure. While those with a growth mindset simply view failures as a natural part of the learning process and are not ashamed to faceplant. If you want to see me faceplant, come snowboarding with me. I'm not ashamed. It's a yard sale every time. Okay. A second valuable lesson psychologists have to teach us is the dangers of self-handicapping. People who self-handicap are so threatened by the thought of failing that they set themselves up for failures that come with convenient excuses that protect them from the actual consequences of failing. For example, this might happen in college, a student who goes out and parties all night the night before an exam instead of studying, and then goes in the next morning all bleary-eyed, exhausted, and they fail the test. This is self-handicapping because you can say, oh yeah, like I bombed that test, but I only had 2 hours of sleep. Yeah, if I had studied more, I know I would have aced it. So again, the implication here being that if you hadn't been up all night, you would have gotten an A+. However, this really isn't true failure. It's a fake failure. Oh, I failed, but not really. It's only when you've studied and studied and studied and worked hard that you can meaningfully fail. If you haven't really tried, then you haven't really failed. So always give it your best effort and don't protect yourself with excuses. There is no shame in an honest failure. No embarrassment except what you impose on yourself. So I'm going to demonstrate. My students all know I'm without shame. So let me demonstrate. My worst exam score in college. Does anyone want to take a guess? Oh, close. Okay, an 11 out of 12. No, out of 100. An 11 out of 100. Yeah. Woo! And I tried. This is my first test in computer architecture, and I studied so hard. I studied. I walked in like, I am going to ace this, and I walked out like, I don't think I aced that. And then I got it back, and it was like, okay. Now, did I need to take computer architecture as a psychology major? Nope. I just thought it sounded cool. I didn't know it was a weed out class for the entire major. Awkward. Could I have dropped the class after that exam? Yes, I still had time to drop the class. But I didn't, as I'm that kind of persistent person. I stuck it out, and I worked really hard. I went and begged all my friends who were computer scientists, help me. And I worked really hard, and I studied, and I got a C for my final grade, okay? And you know what? I am more proud of that C than many A's. Now, did I go on to a PhD in computer architecture? Well, no. But what I learned in that class was persistence, and that the world doesn't come to a crashing end when you get a bad grade, or a really bad grade. It just means you have that much more room to improve. So don't be afraid of failure. Don't be embarrassed when you say the wrong thing. Don't get angry when someone criticizes you. Listen to them. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't shy away from trying something new because you'll think you'll look foolish. Don't be afraid, meow, to be a little weird sometimes, meow. And know, good, a couple people caught that one. And know that you are going to make mistakes. You are going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. I hate to tell you, you're not perfect. And it's okay, because that's how we learn. And if you allow yourself to be ruled by fear, you will build a cage of mediocrity that will imprison you your entire life. The College of Idaho is a liberal arts college. And by liberal, we mean that our goal is to make you a liberated human being. And if we can teach you to face failure, to accept it, embrace it, to learn from it, pick yourself up and move on, then that is one giant leap towards being truly free in this world. Now, I'm going to end with a brief bit of dialogue from a film by Christopher Nolan. So, some of you may have heard of him. He did a little movie this summer. He's an indie filmmaker, yeah. And it goes like this. It's very short. And why do we fall? Does anybody know the answer? Yes, that's absolutely right. The C of I is a safe place to fall. Take advantage of the many opportunities here to be challenged, to learn, to grow, and yes, sometimes even to fail. Thank you.